welcome to this short video about our cyclical beings as women and what it has to do with the seasons, with the 4 seasons, and how we can change our yoga praxis and why it makes sense to do so as women. My name is Julia and I'm a yoga teacher specializing in feminine and fertility yoga. I have discovered this yoga practice after having done some years of very strong power yoga, vinyasa, ashtanga yoga, and I had some hormonal imbalances, and this is why I found the feminine yoga aspect of the yoga practice which really resonated so deeply with me. And I'm happy to share with you a very little part of this feminine yoga, which is the 4 different seasons. So we as women are cyclical beings. With our menstrual cycle, we have 4 different phases. The first phase is the menstrual phase. The second phase is the follicular phase. Then there is the ovulation. And then there is the luteal phase. And then it starts all over again. So I'm gonna go through these 4 phases and then hopefully make it clear what it has to do with the seasons and how we can adapt our yoga practice to truly benefit our yoga practice, to truly benefit from our yoga practice. So that we can truly benefit from our yoga practice. So the first phase is the menstrual phase. This is when we are on our period, when we are bleeding. With the seasons, this correlates with the winter. So you can imagine that this is our inner winter. This means, and this is basically because of our hormone levels of estrogen and progesterone and testosterone, which are our sex hormones. The winter phase, the menstruation phase, means that our energy is generally at a very low point. We are introverted. We would mostly like to be on our sofa, in our bed the whole day. And I guess most of us would not want to do a power yoga class or even go jogging or do some kind of strenuous exercise. So during our inner winter, and you can really imagine this with the seasons, outside it is cold and there is no flowers. There is no flowers or trees that are blooming, and there is no flowers, and the seeds of the flowers, they are in the earth, still waiting for spring. So for the yoga practice, this means that maybe there is some days where we don't do any yoga practice. Maybe we choose to do some meditation. Yoga nidra is very wonderful. Often we hear that yin yoga is great, but I would be careful, because there is some yin yoga classes which are actually really challenging, because we go very deep into the poses. So please opt more for like a restorative yoga. There is some general exercises we can do to relieve pain. Avoid any standing postures, any postures where you have to engage your belly. During our bleeding time, we really want to have the belly very soft and a lot of room for our belly. We want to cultivate the energy that is flowing down, the apana energy, and this is really for the most intense days of your bleeding. For the last 1 or 2 days of the bleeding, when you feel more like you're already in your inner spring, you might go back to some more challenging, or a little bit more challenging yoga classes. So after our inner winter, after our bleeding time, comes the follicular phase. This is the time when the bleeding has stopped until then the ovulation. And this is our inner spring. So think again about the little seed that during winter was in the earth. Now this seed is slowly coming up to the sunshine. Maybe there is some little, it's growing a little bit. There is not yet a flower, but it's already there and it's green. and it's growing. And as is with our energy. So in the follicular phase, generally, each day we feel like more energetic. We feel a lightness after the bleeding has gone. And in general, every day we feel like we are more active again. We want to go out. We are ready to start new projects. And for the yoga practice, this means that we ease slowly into the practice after the menstrual phase. So please, after the bleeding stops, don't just go to 2 hours of power yoga, but slowly start to increase the intensity level of your practice. And then when you really feel like you're in your full potential, then you can really go into any yoga class that you enjoy at your local yoga studio or online, of course. And this is really like the easygoing phase where you can do whatever you feel like. Just take care that also you do some breaks. Maybe sometimes you do a gentle yoga class, because if you go like go, then you might just lose all your energy because you did too much. So always remember to reduce your stress levels also by, from time to time, going to a yoga practice that is also like calming you down. The third phase is our ovulation phase. So this is our inner summer. This is where our estrogen levels are the highest. This is where generally we are full of energy, we are outgoing, we love to meet with other people. And this is our blooming phase. Like, this is the summer, the flowers are blooming. And this is how society wants to have us all the time, but it's just not the truth. As in nature, where the flowers are not blooming the whole year around, so are we with our inner cycles. But this ovulation time generally is a phase where we are like this. And it is not only like the ovulation, because ovulation only goes about 24 hours. It is really like 1-2 days before ovulation and 1-2 or 3 days after ovulation. So it counts more like how you feel. When you feel like this, wow, I'm full on, I'm very energetic, then that's your ovulation time. And in the yoga practice, still we can benefit from a more active yoga class. We might enjoy a lot of back bending. This is great during the ovulation phase. And in general, to cultivate this feminine phase, this is really the peak of our femininity. We would, in the feminine yoga, emphasize on a lot of circling movements, like hip circles, like circles with the spine, also chest openers, like, I said it, back bend to open the heart, and really to enjoy this phase. Also great time to go dancing or to do some dance classes, whatever you enjoy, to tap into your femininity. And then the last phase is the luteal phase. So this is the time when you feel like, okay, ovulation has gone and the energy is slowly decreasing. This is this time, and then up to your bleeding again. This is your inner autumn. This means your energy is slowly coming back, like in nature. The leaves are dying, the flowers are dying, and we are slowly going back into darkness. We are slowly going back into being more introverted, wanting to have more time for us. Maybe you have PMS symptoms, maybe you feel like emotional, it's a little bit the roller coaster. There is so many symptoms that are associated with this time of the month. And in yoga practice, this is the time where we start to slow down again. This is the perfect time to do a lot of inversions. Inversions are known to help balance the hormones, and again to go more into meditation, more into softening your belly. The more you go towards your period, the more you want again to soften your belly, to have the room here, and to really tap into yourself, notice what is going on, and really feeling what is there, and not push it away, but really try to embrace it. And again, maybe more of restorative yoga nidra is beneficial again. and really noticing from day to day, of course, also depending on your symptoms, if you have any symptoms, what you need every day. So this has been a very short overview of the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, and I hope it gave you some clarity. I have a YouTube channel with lots of yoga classes. It's in German, so if you speak German, you can have a look there. And yeah, I would love to hear from you, how it resonates with you. Also, I would love to say that this is a theory. And I think theory is great to read it and to understand it, and then to think, of course, critically and feel it for you. Like, is this true for my body? And then in the end, of course, do what your body feels like. Nothing is more important than tapping into your own intuition and notice what you do. But I feel like nowadays we just don't do this anymore. We're a little bit numb and we just do what the instructor says, or we have like this idea in our head. 3 days a week I have to do exercise, I have to do yoga, without really thinking, what does my body actually tell me? So for me personally, I love this theory, and I encourage every woman to practice like this cyclical nature for a few months, and then to see, okay, is this beneficial for me? Are there any changes in my body? Am I more aware of my body, of what happens with my menstrual cycle? And then, of course, decide what is helpful for you and what is not helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.